kids, welcome back to Uncle Fezzi's Body Shop of Bad Decisions. Well, one of the things that Uncle Fezzi really likes is fire. I know it sounds a little weird, but, fire is civilization. Well, actually, ice is civilization, but, fire is part of that, too. Well, I'm not afraid of fire. I got a pretty decent respect for it, and those of us that have been on fire know these things. So, in my old truck, I used to keep this 5-pound fire extinguisher. And, well, quite frankly, I used to just jam it between the rear passenger driver's side door and the seat. Well, the new truck, there's no room to do that. Now, the other thing is, I could get to it really easy. I mean, literally just open the passenger side door and occasionally it would fall out because it was never really mounted in there. It was just kind of jammed in. So the new truck, the new INEOS Quartermaster, does not really have a decent place for me to put this fire extinguisher. Now, I could get a smaller fire extinguisher, but experience has taught me that even a 5-pound fire extinguisher, you got a decent fire going, and it's not going to buy you a whole lot of time. And that's all a fire extinguisher is really good for, is just to buy you enough time to get the fuck away. Having seen a battery fire go off. So I decided, and probably made a poor decision, that I'm going to mount this to the roll bar. It's not really a roll bar. The accessory bar on the back of the Grenadier. I'm going to show it when I install it. So what did I do? Well, quite frankly, I'm cheap. And, not for nothing, I have a 3D printer, right? So what did I do? I went into Fusion and I designed a mount for this fire extinguisher. Oh, you know what? I should go grab those parts. Now, I looked at a bunch of different ways to do this, and I looked at a bunch of professional ways. I really wish I had metal straps that could really clink it in. But somewhere along the line in the existence of this fire extinguisher, I lost that part. And I'm not going to buy a new one. This fire extinguisher's been bouncing around for a long time. And yes, I flipped it over and gave it a couple rocks with a hammer to make sure that the dry chemical inside was still liquid. If that makes any sense. And the other thing is, this thing doesn't owe me anything. This particular fire extinguisher doesn't owe me anything. I don't even know where the hell I got it from. I assume that I bought it because I went on a kick at one point in my life where I bought a whole bunch of fire extinguishers. I actually, in this garage right now, I have 1, 2, 3 within arm's reach, right by the door. A dry chemical, a water charged, and a CO2. Because you never know what kind of fire you're going to have to put out, especially in this hole. This is a fire trap by every metric. This thing's still charged up. It's still good for charge, so I'm not worried about it. And it doesn't owe me anything. So I actually posted the question, is it a good idea to mount a fire extinguisher on the outside of my vehicle? I've gotten mixed results. The general result is no, it's not a good idea. And the other end of that is, and my wife kind of pointed this out, is any kind of fucking scumbag that's going to steal a fire extinguisher deserves to die in the fire that fire extinguisher is intended to be put out with. So, it's just the way I'm going to go with it. That's my thinking. So, I went into Fusion 360 and I designed this fire extinguisher mount. I'm going to add a little quick video showing it, or a little quick video clip showing it in Fusion. Okay, just because I have, because I learned something new here, we're going to put this in the video too. That's not what I want. Come on. This is the mount for, this is the mount. Now, you'll notice here, it's actually 2 pieces. I split it. There's a 5 thou split in the middle of it. But it actually prints as one part. That's the mount. And then this is the fire extinguisher. This is the fire extinguisher side. And what I did was I I derived the other image over to here, and then I designed this piece. This is what goes on the fire extinguisher, and then these are the pull tabs. Again, they're real simple to do. This stuff is real simple to do in Fusion. And then this is the other one. This is my auto stop start. This is my nanny button for my auto on off bullshit tree hugger fucking thing. So that's the fusion. And then let's go here. This is the part in the slicer. I did it all on one plate. So, and then what I want to do here is show what I did. Let's see here. Get layers to come up. Do line type. There we go. Close that out. Now, when I'm going to show the slice just real quick. So this is the Hilbert curve, which I'm not crazy about. It didn't give me the finish that I wanted. Part of that could be because I didn't dry the filament enough. But you can see, and it might not be thick enough. And my top layer might not be thick enough. It doesn't matter. I can flip it upside down. So I'm going to pull it down, and you'll see how thick you can see here the wall thickness, which is the important part. Let's see here. We can go down. So this is the holes. And that's 10 layers thick. I mean, that's as thick as I can make it with ABS. So we'll see how it goes. Well, I did a couple faux pas. That's why I have this one out, and I'm going to take the other one out of the machine in a second so we can both laugh at my screw up. This is printed out of PLA. In super rough draft. I actually already mounted this thing to the roll cage temporarily, and not for nothing. Even printing this in extra draft in PLA, I couldn't break it. I didn't try to break it, but it mounted the fire extinguisher, and it worked the way it was intended to. The only thing I didn't like about it, and I'm going to show that right now. So this is actually a 3-part mounting system. So there's the fire extinguisher. This mounts to the roll bar, and I'm going to show this. This mounts to the roll bar, and then I made another piece that mounts to the fire extinguisher itself. Why did I do that? Well, because that's backwards. I wanted something for the fire extinguisher to rest on. I was going to make 2 of these and like really make it very burly, and it'd be 4 straps and all that other shit. You know, not for nothing, I don't think it needs that, so I'm not doing it. But what it does do, and I kind of knew it was going to do this when I did it, was it rotates. So the way this works is, I'm using Velcro. Now I could put a little piece of Velcro on the fire extinguisher itself to keep it from rotating, because this is Velcro wrap. So I could just put a little piece of Velcro on the fire extinguisher to keep it from spinning, which is what it's doing, right? This Velcro is tough stuff. I've used this shit for decades. I've never had it fail. I've left it outside. It's never failed me. If you know, and the other thing is, if it were to experience some kind of degradation, because everything that you leave outside will degrade in the sun, then, you know, I'll just replace it. This stuff's relatively cheap. So there's the mount, right? Now, in the truck, it mounts a little bit like that. So my game plan is the new part. And I want to take the new part out of the printer. It's just finished printing, like 10 minutes ago. I'm letting it cool off a little bit because it's ABS. So my test piece, that's another thing a lot of people, I've had this discussion actually with a little kid. I always print a test part. Actually, in this particular one, I printed 2 test parts because I wanted to make sure that this was going to fit, well, it was going to fit nicely here. Actually, I printed 3 test parts. This was my first test. The original design of this was to mount to something inside the vehicle. I couldn't find anything, so if you need one of these for a 5-pound fire extinguisher, I have one. It was just going to have one bolt that went through it, and then the Velcro was going to hold it on, the straps were going to hold it on the outside. This is printed out of ASA. I'm not throwing this one away, but it fits the fire extinguisher perfectly. It fits the radius of the fire extinguisher perfectly. I did do a couple test prints of that. So actually, at the end of the day, I probably have like 5 or 6 test prints. Doesn't matter. ASA is expensive, but for the most part, it's cheap theoretically. So let's take the other one out of the. Let's take the other one out of the printer and see what it's going. The printer's it's over here. Now here's my build plate. Literally, this thing's, it's not as hot as it was. ABS prints really hot, so the build plate gets like ridiculously hot. Oh, that's nice. Woo, that's beefy. So the other thing I did with this, and I don't get paid by them, nobody pays me because I have 700 subscribers, is I put, because I've had ABS fail in the past printing, I put this stuff on it. If you do any 3D printing and you're not familiar with this product, this is called nanopolymer adhesive from Vision Miner. This stuff has saved me a ton of aggravation. The only problem with this stuff is it does leave a residue on the backside of the prints. So whatever's touching the build plate, it will leave a residue. And you either have to live with that residue, because I don't know how to get it off. I've tried IPA, I've tried a bunch of things, and I've never been able to get it off. But the first layer of build adhesion is like really good. And a little bit goes a long way. I'm not plugging, well, I am kind of plugging the material, but yeah, a little bit goes a long way, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to have to let this cool off because that won't peel off hot or even slightly warm. That's going to take a while to clean that build plate off, but that's good because I'd rather take a while to clean that build plate off than I'd rather take a while to clean the build plate off than have a 20-hour print fail. I printed it with tree support because this one I printed with no support and the holes got goofy. Now here's the next thing we're going to see. And this might be, I kind of did this on purpose because I'm curious to see if I was right. When I made my prototype, and this is why we make prototypes, I didn't take into account the diameter of the socket to hold the nut in place. I didn't incorporate nuts into the part, and I didn't incorporate and I don't want to incorporate nuts into the part. I could do that. I could put thread setters in this. I could heat set thread setters in it, but I still might, but I don't really think that's what I'm going to do. So one of the things I did when I printed this, and I'll show it. I guess I could show it. When you're 3D printing a part, and the quality of the part's not terrible, it's not great, but it's not terrible. I used Hilbert curve for the final finish of the top surfaces. Oh, it did do what I thought it was going to do. It actually printed support on the inside. Let's see if the bolts fit. Yep, that's a good thing. This one, because I didn't print it with support, they didn't print right. So I'm pushing the support material out of the holes. So when I go to put it on, it fucking works. I'm going to have to paint this. So I'm actually not going to install it right now. This is going to be a 2-part video. Support didn't work there. this is not the end of the world having to do this, you know, to make sure your bolts fit. Because they don't always do. Hey, you know, Adam Savage said it best. This is a 3D printer. It's not a Star Trek replicator. So there's certain things that you are going to have to accept as part of the project. I wanted to use Allen head bolts, and I actually spec the original design for Allen head bolts. Allen head cap screws, like the square-headed ones, because they look cool. But at the end of the day, I ended up using, I had to use these shitty Phillips combo heads from Home Depot, because let's see if we can break it right away. That's all they had at Depot. That worked perfectly. Okay, now, so what did I do? What else did I do? I printed these little tabs out with in PLA. I'm not sure how long they're going to hold up, but I crazy glued them in, so it's kind of a they're for show, really. Now let's take this off here. I am a little, you know, I'm still not totally sold on 3D printed parts holding up, but you know, a lot of people put a lot of faith in them, so I'm thinking that it might not be the end of the world to use a 3D printed part. Now, I've seen this. This isn't actually my design. I kind of ripped this design off of a billet part that I had seen made. I personally think it's pretty beefy. I used 10 layers, or 10 layers for wall thickness. So whenever your wall thickness is really where you get the strength from a part. The infill, I did 50% infill. So these parts are actually really heavy. They're almost solid ABS. I bought all stainless hardware because I'm finding that that's the other reason I didn't use the that's another reason I didn't use the I do have black phosphate. They're good ones. I got them from McMaster Car, but they weren't. I didn't have any 2-inch. They only went up to 1.5 inches, and I really needed 2-inch bolts. So I'm actually not going to tighten this all the way up. I am eventually. Well, you know, maybe I will, just to see what it does. That's pretty tight. Now that's more than enough to hold the weight of a 5-pound fire extinguisher. So what I did to try to mitigate some of the twisting was, so this is going to go on like that, and it won't be able to twist anymore once it's on there. And the other thing I might do is I might put just a little piece of double-sided tape on the fire extinguisher itself. Again, I want to see how it holds up. I got to paint these parts. I can't. ABS apparently doesn't like to be left out in the sun. I did not know this. All right, so I bought this stuff, this matte hammered. Oh, we need to see my dreams crushed. Forgot about that part. Organization's the key to my success. It only took 15 minutes to find a fucking tool that was right in front of me. Use your finding eyes, Uncle Fezzy. Where was I? Oh yeah, so let's crush my dreams. Look at that, it actually fits. So I bought nylock nuts to hold this into place with. You know, honestly, my intention is once this thing goes on, theoretically it should never come off. So the joke is, when I built this one, I wasn't paying attention, because why would I, right? I built this one with the nuts inside of it. Well, the problem was I didn't make the holes. Nut size or nut shaped, and it's not a good idea anyway, right? So when I went to go put the socket into the hole, didn't work. Another thing is, this is spec'd for this particular snap-on socket, 1/4 inch drive snap-on socket. So it does fit, and it fits perfectly, because that's what I have. I'm not. If you were to do a 3/8, it wouldn't fit. Oh, actually it did. There you go. Shockingly, it did fit. I get a lot, it's a little tight, but it does fit. I get a lot of questions about why do you use 1/4 inch? Well, the truth of the matter is, I'm not tightening head bolts on a 871 diesel or 871 Detroit. I'm tightening 1/4 bolts into a plastic piece of plastic. So, being a body man, I always used 1/4 inch drive. Get that from John Logan. May he rest in peace. That's it for the time being. I'm gonna paint these. I'm just gonna spray some adhesion promoter on them and paint them. I am not going to sand these at all. I don't care about the finish. I do care about the finish, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. The surface finish isn't terrible, and I used Hilbert Curve for my final layer, and I don't like it, so that's going to go down. I am going to maybe wipe them off with a little bit of IPA before I spray them, but yeah, these are getting painted. This is a matte hammer tone paint. Hammer tone! I like hammer tone because it hides a lot, and everybody knows that I'm a shitty painter. So I'm gonna call it. Oh no, yeah. You know what? I might. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna call it. Oop. And this is gonna be a multi-part video because fuck it, right? Why not? Nobody watches my fucking videos anyway.